Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi. Wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa nashhadu anna sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadan 'abduhu wa rasuluhu. Amma ba'd. فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I welcome you to class number 2 for Tafsir of the 30th Juz, which is Amma Bara. I will just give a few minutes so that everyone can join us. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask, you can comment them or you can private message them. Please do note that if you private message them, then I would answer them in the next session. So let me just give a minute or two for everyone to join us. Also, if everyone can please share this video so that it can reach to many people, and inshallah, just because of you sharing, if someone gets the knowledge of the Qur'an, then you would get the sawab for it. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So last week we discussed almost 20 ayats from Surah An-Naba, which is Surah Amma Yatasa'alun, and we talked about some details regarding those 20 ayats and some details about Surah An-Naba. So if you are willing to, if you want to know, if you haven't heard the first part yet, then you can find them on my Facebook page. You can listen to them. So the Surah An-Naba is divided into 6 parts. The first part is describing the great news. As when this surah starts, it talks about عَمَّا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ عَنِ النَّبَإِ الْعَظِيمِ, about what are they arguing about the great news. So the first part is talking about this great news, and it goes for 5 verses. The second part is the zikr of many things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us the mercies and blessings that He has bestowed upon us, as He made the night as a covering and the day for seeking livelihood, and our sleep so that we can relax our bodies. And there are so many more that has been described in the second part of the surah. The third part was talking about the Qiyamah, the Day of Judgment. And it just gives a brief summary when the trumpet will be blown and all of the ummah, the whole all human beings would rise. So it talks about the Qiyamah. The fourth part, which we are going to talk about now, it talks about hell, Jahannam. Now the Day of Judgment will come before a person actually goes either to heaven or hell, which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that before mentioning about the Jannat or Jahannam. So starting off from ayat number 21, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna jahannama kanat mirsada lit-taghina ma'aba labithina fiha ahqaba la yadhuquna fiha bardan wala sharaba illa hamiman wa ghassaqa jaza'an wifaqa innahum kanu la yarjuna hisaba wa kadhabu bi ayatina كذابا وكل شيء أحصيناه كتابا فذوقوا فلن نزيدكم إلا عذابا. This 10 ayats are basically talking about hell, Jahannam, and gives a small summary about the Jahannam. Going on with the translation first. Truly hell is a place of ambush, a dwelling place for those who transgress. They will abide therein for ages. Nothing cool shall they taste therein, nor any drink, except boiling water and dirty wound discharges. An exact recompense, for verily they used not to look for a reckoning. But they belied our ayats, our signs, completely, and all things we have recorded in the book. So taste, no increase we shall give you, except in torment. This is the 10 translation of the 10 ayats, and we will inshallah read these 10 ayats today. Again, if you have any questions, write them down in the message or private message me. Last week I did have a brother that asked a question, but unfortunately it got erased from the messages, and I was not able to read it, so I'm sorry that I would not be able to give you the answer for it. But if you still have that question and you would like to ask it, then please message me again. And also, everyone that is listening, please share this video so that those who are online right now and those who will be online in the near future, they can listen to the tafsir of Amma Para. This is a very easy para. Almost every kid learns it, but no one goes to learn the translation and the background of these ayats. So share this video so that others can learn and they can get the knowledge of the Qur'an. So, Inna Jahannama kanat mirsada. The first ayat from ayat number 21. That indeed hell, Jahannam, is a place of ambush. Since this chapter is mostly talking to the kuffar of Mecca, this is a Makki surah, we have already talked about that in the first class. So this is a Makki surah, and which is mostly talking to the kuffar of Mecca, as most of the Meccan's ayat that revealed are mostly either as a jawab to the kuffar or to for the Muslimin, to tell them about the mercies and about Jannat and Jahannam, and to warn them and make to give them more faith. So Inna Jahannama kanat mirsada. This truly hell is a place of ambush. So as I was saying, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to the kuffar of Makkah in this surah, and everything is coming in line. First, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a reply to those kuffar of Makkah about those things that they were disputing in. We already had the talk about it, that they were either disputing about the qiyamah, or some of them believed in it, some of them did not believe in it, some of them had the iman. They said that their idols will come and save them no matter what they do. And we know that at that time the kuffar of Makkah were doing a lot of bad habits. they were burying their daughters alive, and similarly so many more bad actions. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first gave them the jawab of their questioning, that there's no use for you to question. You're arguing about the Nabal Azim, about the great news. There's no need for you to argue. You either have to believe. If you don't believe, then you will soon know. The Qiyamah is near. You will know. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, since He is talking in the next part, when He is talking to the Muslims and the non-Muslims at the same time, He is reminding everyone that all these things around you, you're disputing about God, but all these things around you are proving the existence of God. Then about the Qiyamah, which is the actual Nabal Azim. Then now the Jahannam, so that the kuffar can actually be scared of the Jahannam and that their hearts incline towards Iman. So, Inna Jahannama kanat mirsada, that indeed Jahannam is a place of ambush. Mirsada is a word from rasada yarsudu. Just to let everyone know that I would bring some morphology and some Arabic grammar into the tafsir. So mirsad is from rasada yarsudu, which means to observe. Just like the word raqaba yarqibu means to observe. And that is because the hell is waiting for the kuffar. Another meaning is that Jahannam is the place where angels will be waiting for the kuffar. So inna Jahannama kanat mirsada, that the Jahannam is waiting for those who are commanded to go into Jahannam. Or the angels, because Jahannam is just a place, so the angels will be waiting so that they can throw those people that are supposed to go into Jahannam, they can throw them in. Another meaning that the Mufassirin bring is, they say that everyone, every Muslim and non-Muslim has to cross over Pul Sirat, which will be over the hell. And Pul Sirat is a small bridge, which is, it's a small wire which every person will have to go upon. And that wire will be thinner than a piece of hair and sharper than the blade of a sword. So every person will have to go upon it, though he's a Muslim or a non-Muslim, and right under it is Jahannam. So those that are from the Iman, from the Ahl Iman, and they are supposed to go in Jannat, so they will just walk through that Pul Sirat, and Jannat is after crossing Pul Sirat. So they will go and they will easily pass through it. And the angels of Jannat, they will be waiting on the other side, and they will help those that are crossing the Pul Sirat and are supposed to go into Jannat. While they're all on that Pul Sirat will also be the angels of hell, which are basically there waiting for those that are supposed to go into hell. So this is why inna Jahannama kanat mirsada, that indeed Jahannam is a place of ambush. لِلطَّاغِينَ مَآبًا, for a dwelling place for those who transgress. This is a badal from the previous sentence. Badal means that it is connected to the previous sentence and is more explaining whatever came in the previous sentence. So it said inna Jahannam kanat mirsada, that indeed Jahannam is a place of ambush. Then for whom is it an ambush? For the lit-taghin, for those who are transgressors. And for those lit-taghin, it would be a ma'aba, a dwelling place. So ma'ab, lit-taghin ma'aba, the word ma'ab, which means marja', place of returning. So those who are sinners or are not from Ahl Iman, so they are already destined to be in hell. So it's a place of return for them. While the word لِلطَّاغِينَ about the word طاغين means those who transgressed. And it can be in one of the two meanings. مَنْ طَغَى فِي دِينِهِ بِالْكُفْرِ, whoever transgresses in his deen with kufr, with blasphemy, or without having iman in his heart. أو في دنياه بالظلم, or in his dunya, in his worldly life, with dhulm, with oppression. And this بالظلم actually goes into many meanings. It can mean you're oppressing someone, or it can mean that you are not following the commands that are given to you. So all of these meanings come into being oppressed. So even in today's day, there are so many ways that you can be oppressing. Not only meaning that you are hitting someone or you are eating his wealth, but even what the meaning of dhulm is to do something in other of its place. To do something in other of its place. So, for example, if you lie, the original thing that you were supposed to say, you are not saying that. So you are doing zulm over here. Similarly, there's so many actions that can be that are done in the worldly life. Some of them are done on the name of Islam, while they're pure zulm, they're oppression, and they should be, and one should stay away from them. Because if we do not stay away from zulm, then we should fear that we may be thrown into hell. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from hell, save us from Jahannam, make us of those who are in Jannah. Ameen. لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says they will abide therein for ages. لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا, meaning they will be in it for such a time to which there is no end. Huqub, لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا. Ahqaba is the jama, is the plural form of huqub, which means year. But just like the word ayyamul akhirah, which can be used for everlasting, ayyamul akhirah means day after day until there is no ending. Even though ayyam is for yawm, which just means a day. Just like that, huqab, huqab normally means a year. Huqub. Ahqab means years. But ahqab over here is used in the meaning of everlasting. Meaning year after year until there's no, to which there is no end. And the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا instead of saying لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَيَّامًا is, as I said in the beginning, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is more mukhatib towards the kuffar Makkah. So He wants to He wants it that the mushrikeen can be more scared. Because if a person hears that they hear that a hukum will last for so many years, can get one's attention more than to say that the hukum will last for many days. So if I say to you that this command will stay for many days, even though I can mean with it 50 years, 100 years, I can mean with it whatever, but that will still not get your attention more as to saying this hukum will stay for many years. So this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا, that they will abide therein for ages. Now the word hukum is indicating towards a year, while it would not be like a year on this world. Over here, a day is 24 hours and a year is 365 days. But after Qiyamah, though in Jannah or in Jahannam, after Qiyamah, a year would be of 360 days. And this is from a riwayat of Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He says that a day would be of 300, a year would be of 360 days, while each day would be equal to 1,000 days of this worldly life. So each day in Qiyamah would be 1,000 days of this life, a day in Qiyamah, and a year would be for 360 days. And in that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا, that they will abide in it for ages, for so many years. Now we should just ponder like how many, you cannot even count how many years it is. That's why there's no end to it. This ayat is normally talking about the mushrikeen and the kuffar of Makkah, but also goes upon the Bani Israel, the Jewish people, who there were many at the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam who used to say that we can do any evil that we want, but we would not be punished except for the 40 days when they took the cow as a deity. And this has been mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah when the Bani Israel, when Hazrat Musa alayhi salam went upon Mount Tur to get the Torah. So the Bani Israel behind him, they took a cow as a deity. They started worshipping him. So when Hazrat Musa alayhi salam came back, he destroyed that cow. They did not take an actual cow, but rather a cow-made figure made from as some Mufassirin say, from gold. So Hazrat Musa alayhi salam destroyed that. And those who were worshipping, there were some that were not worshipping them at the same time. So those who were worshipping them, who were worshipping the cow, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the hukam to give them maut, to kill them. So they were killed. But there were some that remained, and those were the people who did not worship the cow. So the Bani Israel, they used to say that we can do any action we want because we are, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in Surah Al-Baqarah, that they were once a chosen ummah. So they say that since we are the chosen ummah, we can do any action we want. We will not be punished for it, except we would only be punished for the action, for that action, that particular action. And since the Tafsir say that they worshipped that cow for 40 days, so they also said that we would only be punished for 40 days, and after that we would go into Jannah. So this ayah, لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا, it's also talking to them that do not think that you can do any action you want, you can do any type of bad deeds you want, and you will only go into Jahannam for 40 days. But no, if you disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that you will not be only punished for a few days. Rather, you will be from those who will be in Jahannam ahqaban. You will be there for years after years. Because to go into Jannah, the first thing you have to do is Iman. Now this was لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا. Then the next ayat is لَا يَذُوقُونَ فِيهَا بَرْضٌ وَلَا شَرَابًا. Nothing cool shall they taste therein, nor any drink. Meaning that they will not taste any cool wind or find any shadows in Jahannam. Because Jahannam is all fire. So they would not, it would be really hot over there, and they would not find any shadows under trees that they can go and sit under it, nor any cool winds, rihun, bardun, so that they can feel a little less pain from their adab. So that's the meaning of لا يذوقون فيها بردا. Also, there's when it's said that cold wind and coolness, there is a valley in Jahannam called Zamharir, which is a valley which will be very cold. That will also be in the form of a adab, and that valley it would be so cold that the person that would go inside it will basically, as you can say, freeze to death. So it would be really cold. So some might object that zamharir is a coolness, so how can you say fiha bardun, they would not taste any cool in it? So the answer to that is zamharir is a punishment. The coldness is for a punishment, but not it would not be benefiting them. Meaning they would either burn to they would burn, or they would go into severe cold, but they would not have any lessening in their adab. So they would not get any cool wind that would shorten, or that would lessen their adab. There are some mufassirin that say that bard is the meaning of nawm, that they will not sleep. Because once a person sleeps, his inner soul becomes relaxed, which means that it would become cool. Which is true, because a person would not sleep after Qiyamah. But that's not what the actual meaning of bard is. Because after Qiyamah, as Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was once asked, that will there be sleep in paradise? So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "An-nawmu akhul mawti, wal jannatu la mawta fiha." That no, that the sleep is the brother of death, of maut. And Jannat, there would be no death in it. So meaning that a person would not sleep in Jannat or Jahannam ever. So this was the ayat, لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إلا حميما وغساقا, except boiling water and dirty wound discharges. This is istisna munqadi' from the previous sentence. And as I said, that my tafsir would also include some morphology, Arabic morphology, and Arabic grammar. So this is from Arabic grammar. Istisna munqati'. Istisna means to omit from the sentence that came before. Meaning, if I say that many people came to me except Zaid. So first I said that many people came to me, or a group came to me, but from that group Zaid did not come. So this is istisna, except Zaid. And munqati' is basically that thing which you're omitting is not an original part from the first sentence. Now an example for that is, as I already gave you an example for istisna, that a group came to me except Zaid. Zaid is a part of that group, but he did not come to me. So Zaid is a part of that group. While if I say that that group came to me, that group did not come to me except a donkey. So a donkey came to me, but that donkey is not part of that group. So this is istisna from the previous sentence, but this second part is not an actual part of the first part of the first statement. So just like that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا يذوقون فيها برضا ولا شرابا, that they would not taste any coolness nor any drink. إلا حميما وغساقا, except boiling water and dirty wound discharges, pus. So this إلا حميما وغساقا is istisna from the last one, but it is not an actual part, because the last part of the ayat was talking about bard or wala sharaba, any cool thing or any drink. إلا حميما وغساقا, hamim is basically ma'ul har, meaning boiling water, which is, while it also means the water hamim, which also means the water which comes out from your eyes when your eyes are in pain. But there are many places in the Qur'an where the word hamim and in the hadith where hamim is basically talking about boiling water, not about the water that discharges from your eyes. As Allah Almighty says in the Qur'an, in chapter number 56, ثُمَّ إِنَّكُمْ أَيُّهَا الضَّالُّونَ الْمُكَذِّبُونَ لَآكِلُونَ مِنْ شَجَرٍ مِنْ زَقُّومٍ فَمَالِئُونَ مِنْهَا الْبُطُونَ فَشَارِبُونَ عَلَيْهِ مِنَ الْحَمِيمِ فَشَارِبُونَ شُرْبَ الْحِيمِ. Then indeed you, O those astray deniers, will be eating from trees of zaqum and filling with it your bellies, and drinking on top of it from boiling water. and will drink as the drinking of thirsty camels. That will be their hospitality on the day of judgment. So the people in hell, this is also a part of the Jahannam, when they would be facing all that heat and that punishment. They would feel hungry. So there is no food in Jahannam except for Zaqum. This is a tree which has fruits that are filled with thorns. So they will feel so hungry that they will eat that fruit with thorns. Now think about it, like now just take a pineapple. A pineapple, the shell is the shell how it is. Now when we cut it from the inside, so that the inside part is soft. But the fruit of Zaqum will have thorns on top of it and thorns inside of it. So when the people of Jahannam, when they will eat it, that fruit will start to choke them. And then they will start looking for water. Now, this was the tree of Zaqum. Now, when they eat it, they will be given the water of Hamim, the boiling water. And it is said, this water will be so boiling that when that bowl comes to them, basically their flesh will start to melt. That's how hot that water would be. Now this is the adab of the water, and also the adab of Zaqum. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam has told us how severe this thing is. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, لو أن قطرة من الزقوم قطرت في دار الدنيا, that even a small drop of Zaqum falls in this world, in the abode of this world, لأفسدت على أهل الدنيا معايشهم, then it would corrupt, it would spoil the people's livelihood. All these trees, all this greenery, all these animals, they would be corrupt, they would be spoiled. Only with one drop of Zaqum. فَكَيْفَ بِمَنْ يَكُونُ طَعَامَهُ. So now think about it. The one who is eating the Zaqum, what would his situation be? Now one drop of Zaqum on the world would ruin all the greenery, all the animals from this whole world. Now that person who would be eating it, and that water of Hamim, which is boiling water, that when it comes to the mouth, the flesh will start to melt. That's how much the water would be boiling. Now just think about it, how much this azab would be. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from this azab. Ameen. Now the ayat illa hamima wa ghasaqa. The people would have regular access to Zaqum or boiling water. So they will be such miserable that they would start drinking their own ghasaq. And ghasaq means whatever their body discharges. It means basically pus that comes out of wounds and vomit. And I would not go into much detail for it because we still have to eat dinner. So you guys get the idea. Jaza'an wifaqa, exact recompense. Now jaza'an wifaqa is basically nasab, it's jaza'an, while the default position in an Arabic language is it should be jaza'un. That's the default position, that it has to be tanween, it has to be dhamma. So over here is a jaza'an wifaqa, which is basically a masdar or a maf'ul of the hidden word jazaynahu. So it's meaning that we would give everyone the recompense of how they acted in the worldly life. So meaning that those who do shirk and kufr would be given more adab than those that just did small punishment. Which is why those who are with iman would be getting, but they were sinners, but they died on the state of iman, they would be given, if they were given adab, they would be still given less adab than those who are non-believers and who are mushrikeen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive those who do shirk, who associate any partner with Him. And He will forgive any other sin if He wants. So this is a very severe, shirk is basically, a person can argue that it says shirk and not kufr, but shirk is basically telling the highest level of kufr, because shirk is also kufr. So doing shirk or kufr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not forgive you on that. But if you are with iman, and if you are a sinner, then there is still the chance that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, He will forgive you and make you enter from Jannah. Now make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may we be of those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives and enters us into Jannah, because indeed we are not from the exact pious. We are sinners. In our daily life we do so many sins, and for some of the sins we're not even aware of them. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes hisab from us, then we would be doomed. So we should just make dua that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us, and without any hisab kitab, may He enter us into Jannah. So this was جزاء وفاقا إنهم كانوا لا يرجون حسابا وكذبوا بآياتنا كذابا. For verily they used not to look for a reckoning, but they believed, they belied our ayats, our signs, completely. So, as إنهم كانوا, that they were, لا يرجون, meaning لا يخافون, that they were not fearing hisaba, any hisab. For as I said, even in the beginning of today, and in the beginning, in part 1, class number 1, that the kuffar of Makkah, there were those that believed that they can do any type of sins, and they would not be punished, as their idols will come and save them. And there were those that rejected Qiyamah completely. So they were not having any fear of the Qiyamah. They were just going on with their daily life. So this is for them, إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا لَا يَرْجُونَ حِسَابًا, that they were rejecting the Qiyamah. They were not fearing any, that there would be the Day of Judgment where they will have to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and give hisab kitab. And also they were وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا كَذَّابًا, they were rejecting our signs, our ayats, our verses. Ayat, which normally means signs. All those miracles that were given to the Anbiya are also signs. The Qur'anic ayats, verses, are also ayat. So they were rejecting the Anbiya. Many of them were rejecting the Anbiya. And what the Anbiya brought. The Anbiya brought into believing the oneness of God, and to believe in all of the prophets, and also the Qur'an. So they were rejecting this. And not only were they rejecting some part, or rejecting mistakenly, because وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا كَذَّابًا, the word give is being repeated, it's mentioned twice, that they were belying our ayats completely, which means that if a person did it by mistake, so that would be another story, or if they were just rejecting some part, but they were rejecting the whole Qur'an. There were all those signs. There were even sometimes when they used to come to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they used to mention that if you show us this miracle, then we would believe in you. For example, one of the greatest miracles of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the splitting of the moon. So they came to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said that if you can split this moon in 2 parts, then we would believe in you. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam showed them that miracle. And even after that, they did not believe in him. So they were belying the ayats, the signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, gave to the Anbiya, and basically those verses that were descending upon Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they were rejecting the Qur'an, they were rejecting all the Anbiya, they were rejecting the miracles that were shown to them, and they were rejecting it purposely, intentionally. And that's why وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا كَذَّابًا, that they were belying our signs completely. And that's why وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا كَذَّابًا, that they are belying our signs completely. And that's why وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا كَذَّابًا, that they are belying our signs completely. And that's why وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا كَذَّابًا, that they are وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ كِتَابًا فَذُوقُوا فَلَن نَزِيدَكُمْ إِلَّا عَذَابًا. And all the things we have recorded in a book. So taste, no increase shall we give you except in torment. Again, as I told you in three verses before, that a default position of a word is that it would have a rafa, a dhamma. And over here, the ayat is وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ. It was supposed to be وَكُلُّ شَيْءٍ, which is because there is a hidden word, a hidden verb over here, أَحْصَيْنَاهُ. Just like وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ, there was also أَحْصَيْنَاهُ وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ كِتَابًا, which is why it's kulla as the maf'ul of أَحْصَيْنَاهُ. While there is still a qiraat of Abu Sammal, in his qiraat it's وَكُلُّ شَيْءٍ, not وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ. While كِتَابًا وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ كِتَابًا is also a maf'ul of أَحْصَيْنَاهُ, and which basically means that we have recorded it in a book. Now for this, there are different statements of the ulama. So some of them say that whatever a person, and we have that belief that whatever we are supposed to do, whatever our destiny is supposed to be, has already been written down before we were created. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had all the knowledge of what we were supposed to do, what we did, what we are doing, and what we are supposed to do. So that's one of the statements by the Mufassirin, that وَأَحْصَيْنَاهُ كِتَابًا, that we have written down in a book. That means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already has the knowledge of it, and that's one of the meaning. The second meaning is Lawh Mahfuz. So in Lawh Mahfuz, just like the first one, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already written down everything, so it is written down in Lawh Mahfuz. So the second one is the same as the first one, but the difference between the first and the second is the first one is basically talking about the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He already has the ilm of what we're doing. The second one is أَحْصَيْنَاهُ كِتَابًا, means it has been written down in Lawh Mahfuz. Because as the ayat says, كُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ كِتَابًا, that we have written down in a book. So that's why it has to be written down somewhere. That's the second meaning. While the third meaning is the two angels on our shoulders. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned them kiraman katibin in the Qur'an. They would come up in the future in the 30th juz. They are the two angels, that one's on the right and one's on the left. The one on the right is writing all the good deeds that we do, and the one on the left is writing all the bad deeds we do. So basically, whatever the kuffar of Makkah were belying from the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these two angels were writing them down. Now, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was once asked, فَذُوقُوا فَلَن نَزِيدَكُمْ إِلَّا عَذَابًا, so taste and we shall not increase it to you except punishment. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was asked once that what is the most severe ayat in the Qur'an? So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, فَذُوقُوا فَلَن نَزِيدَكُمْ إِلَّا عَذَابًا, meaning this ayat is the most severe ayat for the kuffar of Makkah in the whole Qur'an, that taste and you would not be shown any mercy if you disbelieve in the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you go into heaven, into hell, into Jahannam, then you would get the punishment, and that punishment, it would be very severe, and we would not lessen that punishment. فَذُوقُوا فَلَن نَزِيدَكُمْ إِلَّا عَذَابًا, and this is from hadith. While the hadith is not very authentic, but has been mentioned by some mufassirin and has been mentioned by some muhaddis. It has been mentioned by Ibn Abi Hatim, and it has also been mentioned in Tafseer Ibn Kathir. So, though it's not a very authentic hadith, but the main point is this ayat is very severe, and we should learn from this ayat. We should take the message that how strict the adhab of Jahannam would be. And now you would have the iman in your heart. You would say that you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and you believe in all the things you have to believe in. But at the end, there are many people that do all these type of sins which are prohibited in the Qur'an, such as adultery and drinking alcohol and drinking and eating haram. These are some things which has been prohibited in the Qur'an, sarahatan, meaning that it has been clearly prohibited in the Qur'an. And there's some people that do not care. So when you tell them, when you give them da'wah, when you tell them not to do it, they go on and they don't give you a logical answer. So we should all be fearing that the adhab of Jahannam is not something that we should take it for that we do not understand it completely. This would be a very severe adhab. So we should be fearing from it. We should stay on the straight path and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May He make us of those who would be entered in Jannat. May He keep us away from Jahannam. May He keep us away from the sins that would lead us into Jahannam. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. This is where we're stopping tonight. Ayat number 30. From next week we would read ayat number 31 to ayat number 40. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. We'll just check if I have any questions. So far I do not have any questions. I was given salam by brother Taha. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. So we would finish our class here today. If you have any questions about the tafsir, please do message me, and also share this video so that our other brothers can learn about the Qur'an. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.